Hi, welcome to the Founders Playbook. This is where we bring founders that are doing amazing work in their own niche to speak to the community. And today we have Mr. Timothy Ayodele. Thank you for joining me. Good morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
You're welcome. So today we are discussing a
Yeah.
very interesting topic. We're having a very interesting conversation around AI and the future of work. Now,
Mm.
I in the design we sent out, I was asking a question. Creative careers are they really in crisis? I think is a good way to start off. Do you think that creative careers are in crisis?
Hmm. It's not a straightforward answer, right? But
Yeah.
then the shortest answer I will give, despite the nuances that may be involved, is that we are not in crisis. That's the first thing to say. We are not in crisis, but we could be in crisis. So it's a
Okay.
possibility. Yes, it's a possibility, but it's not a straightforward conversation. Right? Now, the first thing to say is that AI or machine learning or deep learning or computational intelligence, to put it simply, is supposed to be a productivity tool, even
Yeah.
for creatives, even for creatives. It's a productivity tool, right? So that says that we are not supposed to be in crisis, if that is 100% correct. But now, where the issue is that one of the biggest part of this particular computational intelligence conversation we are having is that AI is a transformation tool. So
Yeah.
when we talk about transformation now, transformation is can be threatening, just like they say, change is constant, but change is also
Yeah.
threatening. I hope that makes sense to you. So change
Yeah.
is
Very
good,
well.
but it is threatening in the sense that it changes the way we do things, changes how we live our lives. If you observe
Yeah.
how technology has evolved over time, right? When we had computers, typewriters faded away, right? It meant
Mm.
that our
Yeah.
mothers and our uncles that were secretaries that only knew how to use typewriters had to learn how to use a computer. The ones that could
Mm.
learn became relevant, continued to be relevant. The ones that could
Yeah.
not learn it faded away. Transformation.
Mm.
Now, when we had Facebook, right, people that sent cards, people that did business of cards, birthday cards, all those things, they were thriving businesses. But when Facebook and the internet became popular, Instagram became popular, their business dwindled. The ones that stayed
Yeah.
faded away. The ones that evolved stayed. You get the idea now?
Yeah.
So, computational intelligence is supposed to be transformative. In fact, it is transformative. Now, this is not to say that there are no negative aspects, but then maybe they don't fit
Yeah.
in this conversation 100%, right? We're talking about the future of work now. So, those are the issues. Now, we've talked about transformation. Now, the other aspect of it is that it evolves, work evolves, or jobs evolve. I don't know if I'm going too
Yeah.
far or should I stop? I don't know if I'm jumping
No,
ahead.
no, no. It's still within the boundary of the
The
conversation.
context.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So new there so jobs will be I've talked about transformation. Then there's the
Yeah.
evolution of jobs too, right? Some people will call it job losses or job elimination or whatever. Me, I call it evolution, job evolution, not
Okay.
revolution. Evolution in the sense
Okay.
that many jobs will evolve to become other things, right? The way those jobs are
Mm.
prosecuted will change. Now, another thing is that new jobs will be created. That's another angle
Yeah.
to it. New jobs will be created. Now, when I say some jobs will evolve, look at coding, for instance, tech coding, or even design, UI,
Exactly.
UX. It will change. Before now, you have to remember many syntaxes in CSS by yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
have to do some things by yourself. Now you don't have to. You don't have to. If you want to write a particular code right now, all you have to understand is the concept of what you want to do, and you tell ChatGPT, and it will give you options on how to do it. It can even give you an
Okay.
analysis of which programming language is the best. So now your job as a
Mm.
software engineer now is not just to write codes, it's to build systems. I hope that
Mm.
makes sense to
Please
you.
say that again. Your job as a software engineer is
Your
not just to write code.
is to build systems. Your
So
job
before
now
you
as a
move
software
on,
engineer.
what's the
Okay.
difference between writing code and building systems?
Okay, no. So writing code is, let's say, for instance, let me bring it down to our level. Mathematics, you can add 2 plus 2. You can add 3 plus 5. You know the answer, 8.
Mm.
2 plus 2, 4. 10 plus 15, that's 25, if I'm correct. Yeah, 25. Now, you know how to write, you know how to do that. But when it comes to
Yeah,
application of it in the world of engineering, it's a different ballgame. Does it make
true.
sense now? So now, when it
Very
comes to
well.
coding, coding is the ability to put syntaxes together, right? To do something. You know what it can do. But now I come
Yeah.
to you and say, okay, I have a problem in my business. I want to, I have inventory, but I can't track my inventory. There are payments coming in. I can't track my profit and losses. Please solve the problem for me. Now,
Wow.
as a software engineer, you have to know, okay, this is a problem. What will be the solution? You must come up
Mm.
with the solution before you start writing the code. So writing the code is the last part. You get the
Last part,
idea.
exactly.
It's the last thing to do. Anybody can write code, but the ability to sit down and think of a solution is the way out. So many years back in Nigeria, I was still very young then. You cannot, if you have a bank account at cooperative bank back in those days in Akure. If you
Okay.
travel to Ibadan, you cannot operate your cooperative bank account because you opened it in Akure. Banks did
Yes,
not have
true.
that interoperability. Even the same bank, oh, but different branches, you can't operate your account. Then somebody said and said, okay, how can we solve this problem? The solution was implemented using codes eventually, but the solution came first.
Oh, wow.
They were like, okay, why don't we allow different branches of the same bank become interoperable, right? If you open an account in Akure, be able to operate it in Abuja. After a while, they were like, wait, oh, why not allow people send money from one bank to another bank digitally? Then they came up with a
Digital,
framework.
yeah.
Do you get the idea? We'll create a network
Mm-hmm.
that will have this communication protocol. They drew it on paper. It had a flow, it had a life,
Wow.
it had a behavior and attitude.
Mm.
Then they were like, okay, now we've solved the problem. How do we bring it to life? That's where coding comes in. This is the last part. So
Wow. Wow.
the future of what we do now as software engineers will be less of coding, but more of building systems. That is why the higher you go, the more relevant you get. So you cannot remain at this base. That is what the evolution will cause. And that's just an example.
Okay. Now, in our own language, as a strategist, it's as if you are speaking my language. So we
Mm,
call it, so instead of saying I'm a designer, anybody can design also. Anybody can use graphic design. But there are some people that can sit down and conceptualize what you have in mind. They don't have to even do the design. So in my own space, is more like strategizing, solving the problem, like getting the founder's idea and simplifying it such that any designer can pick it up and work on it. So that means you are saying that learning, because we have young people that want to start learning coding, asking, okay, which language should I learn? What should I learn? And they are now looking at AI again. Okay, if AI can code, why should I even learn coding? Why not
mm,
just learn how to build system? Can you speak to? There's a thin
mm.
line between that. Can you speak to that?
Yes, yes, that's correct. That's very, very correct. But see now, building on top of what we have been saying before, as a designer, graphic designer, for instance, you should become a brand strategist much more than a graphic designer, right? Just like you said
Mm,
earlier, right? Look at a brand, be able to tell them how to communicate because branding is communication, marketing is also communication, right? So every designer now must begin to understand the rudiments of marketing, that is communication, right?
yeah.
Now, must also begin to study the psychology of colors, psychology of keywords, and so on and so forth. That is the future of it. Such that even if you will use AI as a tool, somebody has to conceptualize what is needed. You understand what I'm trying to say
Wow.
now? That is
Wow.
where
Can you repeat that
that's where
again?
the work is. Yeah, so even though you will use AI as a tool to
As
implement,
a tool.
somebody has to concept, yeah, for implementation, somebody has to come up with what is needed for the brand, how to communicate, right, what is required. Somebody has to study
Wow.
the trend, and then but then AI can be the tool. The tool is never the problem. right? So now, bringing it down now, for instance, so the guy that is going to come to that space to become a strategist,
Mm,
sorry, a person that will do all these things I've talked about, must also know the rudiments of graphics design. So you cannot
exactly.
take it out. You get the idea. The tools you use to learn may change. The platforms you use to design may change, but you still have to understand the basics of design,
The
principles of
basics.
design, the basics. You have to still know it, but you cannot stop there. You have to now progress. The same thing with coding. You still have to learn the basics of coding. You still have to.
Wow.
Just
Still
that you
have to
will
go
not
through
stop there.
HTML, CSS, and all.
For now, you will still have to. A time will come where we don't have to learn those things anymore. A time will come. But for now, you still have to. Even when that time comes, it means that things have shifted. You still have to start from the base at that time. When we talk about the base, it's always time specific or season specific or
Okay.
era
Yeah.
specific. You get the idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, when we come to HTML CSS now, people still I still teach HTML CSS just for you to know it, but you don't have to learn HTML CSS. You can just learn Tailwind, a framework that does that, and move on with your life, right?
Wow.
But there was a time where those things never existed, so you have to learn everything rudiments. You have to learn the raw, the core stuff. So times will determine what the base will be. But my point is that every person that will play at the tip, at the top of the of the pyramid, has to always also start from the base, regardless of what the
From the
base
base.
is, based on the given time. You get the idea. So you still have to
Yeah,
learn
I get.
coding, even though you are going to play at the tip, at the top. You still have to learn the basics. Now, I still teach web development, not because it is the future, but because it is the beginning of the future. You get the idea. It is
Hmm.
still the beginning. Yeah, that's what I recommend. So the students I teach web development or web design, I tell them, I am giving you 1/100. There is still 99 more. But what I have given you
Wow.
will help you to turbocharge that growth. Because people ask me, you're teaching this thing, I know what I'm doing. You get the idea. So what I'm giving you, because when I teach them those things, but I also teach them principles of how to be anything.
Yeah.
So that is
Principles.
exactly what they are paying for, not the coding class. What they are paying for is to become like me, an individual that can sit down and it's not okay. Now let me tell you this. I tell my students that
Okay.
I'm not training you to be a web developer or a developer. I'm training you to be a software engineer. And a software
Wow.
engineer is equivalent to what we call senior developer, so to speak. And the people in that in
Okay.
that in that bracket are people that are not bound by programming language. What do I mean? So there's a problem to solve, right? We want to build a rocket. What do we need to write the software
Okay.
for the rocket? What is the best programming language? Oh, the best programming language is Rust. I don't write Rust. I've never written Rust before. But because I'm a software
Mm-hmm.
engineer, I'm so versatile that Rust is not the barrier. The barrier is I build the
Mm.
system first, then I implement in Rust. So programming languages, I'm not bound by programming. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I'm not bound by
Yeah.
programming language. I can use any programming language at any time based on what is required. So what it means is that,
Mm.
oh, so Rust is what we use. I have never used it before. I go ahead, read the documentation of Rust, and begin to practice it within 1 hour or maybe say 24 hours or 48 hours. I'm done. I can implement in Rust. I may not be able to
Wow.
use Rust extensively, but I can use Rust for that specific task and get it done. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
are
It
trying to
does. It
build
does.
it's a people that can build system regardless of what the required tool is. So that means that individual must be versatile, must understand the concept of algorithms, not just the concept of learning JavaScript or PHP or Node or Python. The concept of algorithms and programming languages. So the programming language you write will be a function of what you want to build, not that
Wow.
not that the thing you build is bound by what you know. It is that you use anything that is required or needed to build what has to be
Wow.
built. I hope that makes sense to you. So
Awesome.
that is
Talking
the
about that,
idea.
can I come
Mm.
in here? So
Yeah,
we
please.
understand that the conceptualization, the idea, the strategy part is much more important. But what of
Mm.
in a situation where you have a client? All the
Mm.
client wants is write this code, give me the end result. But now want to position yourself as I don't just write code. There's a lot in between the idea and the result. How do you position yourself as somebody beyond just a web developer?
Mm, mm, mm,
What's
mm,
the
mm.
communication like with the client that makes them, of course, you want to charge higher than the regular, but they can't justify it in their head. Just write this code and get it done.
Yeah, so there has to be a delicate balance between the two, right? There has to be a delicate balance, and the balance will come in form of, and it's also strategic, right? So you have first of all, you have to observe who is this client,
Mm-hmm.
what are their
Mm.
needs, right? And then their needs are not always the things they say they need. Their needs are sometimes the things you
Mm.
can perceive that they need. You must be
Wow.
able to perceive what your client needs beyond what they are saying. So somebody is telling you that I sell stuff. I need an e-commerce platform to sell. You have to think about it. Okay, does this person need more sales or need inventory management? Because people don't talk about inventory management when it comes to e-commerce. Sometimes what the
Yeah,
customer needs when he wants to build e-commerce platform, it's not that they need more sales. They have enough sales, more than they
we
can
have
even handle, but they lack the ability to manage their inventory. You get the
mm.
idea. But you'll be able to
Yeah.
understand these nuances by having random conversations with them. So when
Random
the client is,
conversation.
yes, yes, yes. So they're saying that, oh, I need this. So you ask them random questions. Oh, so how many sales do you make per day, per week? So what are your numbers like? You know, they're not talking about the website, they're talking about the business. So you must ask questions about the business to understand how the solution will help the business. Now, when you finish that, when you understand what the real problem is, then you know what your role will be. So if their problem is actually inventory management, right? Or it could be inventory, it could be sales, and it could be finance, that is understanding their numbers. They don't know they make sales,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't calculate their profit and loss. Those three things, there may be more, but let's just limit it to three. Now, when you observe that their problem is either finance or inventory, right? Or they need more sales, then your role right now is strategy. Once you figure it out, then you can begin to give them intelligence in that area, right? So
Okay.
when you do that automatically, when you give them information that they did not know they need, but they realize that they need, then you are the strategist
Mm.
that they need. That's how to
Wow.
do it. But you don't just begin to strategize without giving them the information that they did not know they need. I don't know if that
Awesome.
makes sense to you. That is how.
Yes, it
So
does. It does.
that's usually where the issues are. Now, but there are still clients that will never listen to you. Now, I'm not. There are still clients that will never listen to you, no matter what you say. There are clients, yeah. There are clients that they think they know it all, right? There will always be people
Yeah.
like that. Even though they need it, even though they realize it, they are too proud to listen. Some other times it's ignorance. They are just too ignorant to realize that you're an authority in that field. Then you be
Mm-hmm.
what they want you to be, right? Because you must also understand that you are doing business for money. So you don't throw them
Yeah.
away. You do what they need you to do, right? You do the things you need to do within the confines of what you're allowed to. But peradventure, you meet a client that allows you to strategize and help them, then go all out and be the strategist that you're supposed to be. I hope that makes sense. So there has to be a delicate
Yes,
balance
it does.
between this. Yeah.
So I want to go back to a
Mm.
Nigerian wanting to learn either web development or AI. So let's even take, for instance,
Okay.
because I've seen this situation before. The parent got to know that there's something called
Mm.
AI. So they want the child to learn AI, but the child also like coding. So there is now a is not the child is not sure whether to learn AI or to learn coding. If they were to go for AI, what should be the entry point or what is the navigation? Because when you say I want to learn AI, it's very vague. What exactly do you want to learn? Because you are positioning AI as a tool, but people do not realize that it's a tool. People think it's something you can learn and start using to make money. Take for instance, I want to learn how to use AI to make videos. So I just want to learn how to use to make videos so that I can start making video for people and start making money. And we know things change. It could, so I want you to
Mm.
speak to that.
So yeah, so there's no real path. Or let me say there's no properly defined, globally accepted path to it. But there are two distinct sides to AI or
Okay.
computational intelligence. There is a software. In fact, there are three actually. There are three. There's a
Okay.
hardware part, there's a hardware that runs the AI if it has to do with a physical product, right? Now, there's a software part, the software that does the intelligence, right? And there's a data. So a person can now enter through the data aspect, that is data science, data engineering. The person that prepares the data to
Oh,
train the AI, the person that
okay.
understands the information from the AI and refines the data to train the AI. Now there's the engineer that writes the algorithm that can learn from that data. I hope that makes sense to you. Because you
Okay.
have to first
Okay.
define what AI is. AI is like a child. You know, when you give out to a child, the child has the ability to do a lot of things, but has no skill to do those things. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
The child can
Yeah.
walk. I mean, the child has the ability to walk, ability to
To work.
speak,
Yeah.
right? Ability to read, but does not have the skill to do those things yet. Has to be trained to do them, even though the ability is there. That is what an AI software or algorithm is. The algorithm has the ability to do many of these things, but can't do them until it is trained. The training
Mm.
happens. The training happens by data. I think somebody has to analyze the data. Somebody has to categorize it, and this person has to choose which side. So the person has to choose which side. So if it's data, that's going through the data science path. So the person has to understand data science at the deepest level. But if this
Wow.
person wants to enter through the software aspect, the person has to start from the rudiments. Now, it is not compulsory you start with the HTML, CSS, blah blah blah. You don't have to, but I recommend that you do that because so that you can be versatile, you can express yourself in whatever form that is required, right? But the person has to do software development properly,
Okay.
properly.
That's the
That means
software part.
software, yeah. If you are going through the software part, you have to learn the development side, whether web development, mobile, or system or desktop development, right? That is learning programming languages, understanding algorithms at the depth of it. Now, when you understand algorithms and programming or coding at the deepest level, then you can begin to study the tools. Hello,
Okay,
hello,
I
can you
lost
hear
you
me
for
now?
some seconds. Yeah, I can hear you very well now. Yeah, I can hear you very well now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well now.
As I was saying, sorry, can you hear me now? Sorry,
Yes,
my
I can
network.
hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you
so
very well now.
as I was saying, you must be able to understand that. So understand the software aspect of things very well, right? Understand the software aspect of things very well, then begin to study the tools used for building AI, right? So the tools can be also in different ways too. But then I would say that there are many frameworks, and then there are programming languages that are best for AI. Not all programming languages are optimized for it, right? But there are programming languages
Wow.
that are optimized for it. But the first thing is understanding the rudiments of what software is, what development of software is, what algorithms are. Then before you begin to study the methodology of doing AI, because AI is not a programming language. It's a method. It's a methodology. It's a process of telling a computer to observe and take decisions or predictions based on what it has observed. You get the idea. So that is what I will say.
True.
So it depends on what area the person wants to go through. Now the hardware part is more nuanced, right? It's more nuanced. When we say AI lives in a machine, right? The machine will have specifications. So there are people that do these things, but then almost any hardware person can learn to build for AI, basically. So that's that. So we'll say maybe two or three different aspects to computational intelligence. So this person has to choose an angle an angle first. You get the idea. An angle has to be
Mm-hmm.
known, then you know how to work your way through. So the world is still trying to understand and create a pathway to doing this seamlessly. Till then, This is just a way to figure it out.
Awesome, awesome. So we have spoken about web development, AI. How about for a business person that is just trying to grow his or her business and wants to has learned about AI and wants to incorporate AI into his or her business system? What is the simplest way
To do this.
to use AI?
So the first thing is to every business person must understand that uh, AI is also for productivity. Number one. So there are many areas, so
Okay.
many areas. When it comes to when it comes to doing regular business. So let's say you want to build a system. I don't want to use tech. I want to use a traditional business. Say
Yeah.
say you sell
Restaurant.
you sell snacks. Restaurant, perfect. Restaurant is perfect. Restaurant is perfect. So you can use AI for optimization of processes, right? You can describe a challenge you have in the restaurant, right? You can describe those things, and it can give you simplify. Okay, maybe you want to create a menu for a category of people. Maybe you have data on your clientele, people that come to your restaurant. You have their data, you have their personnel. Let's say personnel now, the categorization of the kind of people that come. And you want to create menus for them. AI can do that for you. Give it the information, it can give you, and then you can give it the food items you have, right? It can begin to categorize. So on Monday, this is what you can plan, right? And based on
Okay.
what you see, the result you get from people interacting with your menu, I can feed it back to the AI. Say, this is what I have seen. How can this be better? So the AI can do the brain work for you in that regard, right? Because it has the information you don't have about the people and about the food categories. It can tell you the calories in different foods and give you those information, right? Maybe you're a nutrition and dietetic business. You create food
Mm-hmm.
plan for people that are ill in a hospital or whatever, right? AI can help you with those things. Yeah, because AI can begin to tell you the ingredients of a particular food item, can begin to tell you how it affects your
Yeah,
patient,
yeah.
can use to optimize. So it's the same around the issue of algorithm. This is an algorithm, right? Algorithm is anything that sets a process or methodology to do something. That's an algorithm. So you can use AI to create an algorithm for your business to do things in a certain way. Now, social media, that's the sweetest part. Your business can become very big on social media if you allow AI to help you with content creation and content mapping or content calendar. It can help you
True.
optimize your social media pages. Right? You can even take a picture of your bio and send it and it can tell you what to do and how to do it. Right? It can help
Mm.
you optimize your content. Now, are you in the construction business? Right? It can also help you. It can help you with ideas, right? It can help you with designs. So there's so many things. So it can help you with productivity, answering questions that will take you long to figure out. And then as a business, you must also begin to understand the different types of AI. There are some AI that are better with research, like Gemini, right? They are better
Okay.
with research. There are some that are better with answering code related questions. There are some that are better with doing designs, right? And there are some that are better with philosophical questions. You get the
Wow.
idea now. So yeah, so you can also look at demographics. Many businesses don't look at demographics. They just do things and they are lucky and they make money. But you can begin to look at demographics, geographies. I do business in Akure. I do this in Akure and it worked. If you have an AI that has the data, like Gemini, for instance, it's owned by Google, so they have a lot of data. You can say I do this in
Wow.
Akure. Where else in Nigeria can I expand this business to and make as much money? You can do that research, then validate the research with the real life situation. You get the idea. So these are things that
Yeah, yeah.
businesses are going to use AI for. AI is not only for professionals and stuff. You can use it for business. You can use AI to draw curriculums. You can use so I can mention so many angles to take us time, but you
Wow.
get the idea. So any business can use AI for productivity by using it for drawing algorithms. Like I said, algorithm is not just for code, people that write code. Algorithm is anything that has process or procedure that has to follow step after step. That's an algorithm. And every business runs on algorithm. You understand what I'm saying? Every business runs on algorithm.
Yeah.
There's a process to do everything in your business. So you can use AI to create those processes. So as long as you run an algorithm in your business, AI is your friend. I think that's the best
Wow.
way to summarize it.
Yeah. So what I hear you say is that anybody anywhere on the planet can maximize the use of AI as long as they
Oh
run a
yeah.
business that involve people, that involve processes, that involve algorithm. So you mentioned that we can use it for content, and you also mentioned that there are some AIs that are better in some aspect. Is this something you can elaborate on this, on
Hmm.
this session?
Yes. Yes. So yeah, you said you were asking that some AI that are better in some aspects than some other ones, right? Yeah, that's
Yes, sir.
true.
Yes.
It's very true. So yeah, I don't know all the AIs available out there. I don't know all of them by hand, but I will say that I'll give two examples, just for because
Okay.
of our time. I'll give two examples. Gemini, for instance, is best for research, right? It's best for research. Gemini, the Google AI, formerly Google Bard, is best for
Mm.
research. You want to do research on a group of people, on a concept, is best for research. Um,
Wow.
but when it comes to ChatGPT is good at many things, right? It's good at research also, but maybe not as good as Gemini, right? But
Mm.
when you want to write content, you want to write content, ChatGPT is your guy. It's powerful in that area. You want to write
Yeah.
content,
True.
you want to
True.
write a paper, it's your guy. You want to edit, you've written a paper, you want it to be properly written, edit, and ChatGPT is your guy. When you want to do code related stuff, ChatGPT is also your guy. But you see Grok, owned by X, Elon Musk,
Yeah.
that guy supercharged when it comes to code based stuff. That guy is
Wow.
supercharged. I don't know. It's almost better than ChatGPT, but I stand to be corrected. Now, all these things I'm
Wow.
saying are just my opinion, right? People have different opinions, but this is just based on my
True.
own use, right? But then there are some other ones that AI that are for writing code. They will not only tell you how you should write the code, they will write it and build it for you. That's Lovable is an example. Claude is an example, right? But me, I rarely use those ones. Me, I'm still an old school guy. I like to write my codes, so I use ChatGPT to refine the code, give me ideas on how to better do it. Now, when it comes to system design, ChatGPT is almost the best. System design is,
Mm.
I think, is the best. It's the best, yeah. So far, so good. The one I've used seems to be the best. So, but then the best way to know this thing is actually to use them for the different scenarios and compare. So you can
Yeah.
write the similar prompt on different ones and look at the outputs, look at the differences, right? And you can copy the content from one, the answer from one, and tell the other one to refine it for you. So the best thing is
Mm-hmm.
actually to use them together. I did this yesterday. I asked Copilot a question on my Windows system, on Windows machine. He gave me a response. I was not satisfied. I copied the response, pasted it on ChatGPT. Guy, summarize this. What is right about this? And ask some other questions within the context of what I had posted. And he further refined it, gave me a better perspective,
Awesome.
and gave me more options. You get the idea. So the best way is just to
Yeah.
combine them. Yeah.
So how do you handle a situation where a client knows about
Yeah.
or is familiar with all these AI tools and wants to give you a job, but because he or she feels that, of course, you can use AI to just come up with the ideas and just run it through. The only reason why I
Mm.
don't want to do this is because I don't have the time. And you know that it can be done faster, but it requires more brain work. You have to think and think and think before you get to the, but it can be done faster than the traditional way. How do you justify charging more despite the fact that you can get it done faster?
Hmm. Now, the first thing is that when a client pays you for something, they're paying for two things majorly. There may be more, but majorly two things. They're paying for your time and they're paying for your experience, right?
Mm,
They're paying for your time and they're paying for your experience. Not necessarily the skill, but we can add the skill as a third one, right? You understand what I'm trying to say now? That is
yeah.
why you will see that a junior developer, a junior designer, or a junior somebody is charging less than a senior, even though the skill of a junior may be more updated and better than the senior. The reason is that the senior is actually
Mm,
charging for the experience. The errors that the junior will make, the senior will never make them. You understand what I'm saying?
true.
Then the senior can help the business better. You understand what I'm saying now? So when you build a
Yeah.
system and it works for 2 years, you have to update it. Maybe because a junior did it. But when a senior does the same thing, he builds in a way that even in 2 years, the system is still kicking, right?
Mm,
And if you have to update it, the update is sweeter and better. Unlike when a junior does it, and in 2 years' time, you have to rebuild the entire system. You see the difference? Because the senior has
yeah.
experience. He knows what is expected. He knows the future. He can see it because he has been there. So how to justify it that there's no need to justify it. Charge more. You know what I'm trying to say here? So because
Yeah.
yeah, how you but then for yourself to help you for yourself, if whoever is in this situation to help that individual, is that know that what they are paying for is not the speed alone. The fact that you can do it fast is because you know how to do it fast. So that can
Yeah.
attract fees, right? You do it fast because you are good. If you were not good enough, you will not be able to do it as fast as you did it. Why is it that when you go to government agencies or public businesses, they say if you want to do fast track, you pay extra. But if you want to wait for 2 weeks, you pay lower. It's because yes, because when you do it faster, it's because more resources go into doing it faster. In this context now, more brain work is going into doing it faster. More experience is
Yeah.
going into going to doing it faster. Even if you're using AI to do it faster, it's because you know about AI and can use the AI. Because you can have AI in your
Exactly.
phone and don't know how to use it. So what they are paying for is the thing that you know that they do not know. Number one. What they are paying for also is the experience you have that another person probably does not have. Then the third thing is a
True.
skill that you have that they don't have. So that's how you justify it. I mean, when people hire me, for instance, to consult for them, I charge more than an average developer or an engineer, right? Not because my skill is better, even though it's better. But then the other thing is that I'm coming with over almost 20 years or 16 years of engineering. That's not a joke. So the things I will do for you or do with you or do for your business is way ahead of what an average person will do. That is a junior developer or junior engineer, or so to speak. You know what I'm trying to say now. So
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my
I agree.
in I do consultancy and I do more than software development. I tell you about the numbers. I tell you about the market research based on my experience in that market, right? I tell you the best way to build. No, no, I'm not even talking about coding at all. Coding is always the last thing. So the what I'm bringing on board is not the coding. It's true. What I'm bringing on board is not the coding, is the experience. And this can be done in 1 hour or 30 minutes. Are you not going to say you pay me less because we
Wow.
spent only 1 hour talking or 30 minutes? No. Because what that will, do you get it now?
Yeah. I get.
Somebody else will spend hours doing the same thing for you that I will do in 30 minutes or 1 hour. But I'm bringing wealth of experience and I'm shortening the time
Yeah.
to save you money to do other valuable things. So you should pay me more. So you
True.
get the
True.
picture now. So yeah.
So we are talking about the future of work. Now
Mm,
you have taken us a little bit ahead how we should position ourselves. So take for instance, somebody is starting as a web developer now, junior developer,
mm,
or let's say junior designers, just starting from basic level like graphic
mm,
design or HTML, CSS, and wants to get to this point of being able to charge as a consultant without even writing the code. How do you suggest the person move? Is there a faster route to it such that even before becoming maybe senior developer, the person can start becoming a consultant in the field? Is there a way or route to that?
mm. There's a route, but it's not by promotion, right? You can be a developer for
Yeah.
many years and still not become a senior or have the experience to
Mm,
consult, right? So it's a combination of time duration, which is not the only thing, and also variety of things done, right? Time duration and variety. Time duration and variety. What do I mean?
mm,
So you spend 5 years in the industry, but what are the different things you have done? What are the different flavors of things you have done? Have you worked in fintech? Have you worked in enterprise software? Have you worked in ed tech? Have you worked in agro tech? Have you worked in med tech, health tech, whatever, whatever, whatever? What are the varieties? The varieties can be in industry and the varieties can be in roles, right? Do you have experience in front end development, system development, blockchain, or back end? So it may not be in industry, it may be in the different roles, different
Role.
positions you find yourself. Yeah. So those things is what that they are the things that come together and give you the experience. People become senior software engineers by experience, not just by promotion alone. You get the picture?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some companies will promote you to senior developer, to senior engineer or senior whatever. But the real juice is the experience. What really does the promotion is the experience, not just the promotion. So a person can be 5 years in the industry and not have as much experience as someone that just spent 3 years. Do you get the idea? And a person like me
Yeah,
will
I get
consider
it.
that person that has spent 3 years is senior engineer or senior developer. So that is how it works. So an individual that wants to grow to that level must must open himself up to as much experiences as possible. You get the picture now. So experience is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
does the job. So it doesn't really matter where you're starting from. It's about what are you willing to do? What are the tryings you want to I mean what are the things you want to try, the experimentations you want to do, right? And then what else? What else? I think that's basically all. So what makes you a senior
So
actually?
how do you now make people to start seeing you as a consultant in that, you have the experience, you know the experience, but
Hmm,
people don't know the experience. How do they see
yeah.
that, oh, I can call team, and beyond writing code, you can provide more solutions?
Yeah, teach. That's the way. Teach.
Wow,
Now,
so simple. Teach.
simple. Teach it. Now, I'm not saying you should start an
Wow.
academy, and I'm not saying you should start a boot camp. You don't have to, right? But drop important information that people need that they don't know that they need, or that they know they need
Mm,
but they couldn't find it anywhere. Social media has made this very easy. Back in the days, people would write articles in magazines, right? People would write books. But now we have social media. You don't have to write books or write in magazines or newspapers. You can create content, right? So
mm-hmm.
now you know why I create content sometimes on TikTok. It's not really
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, yeah,
You get the picture now. So,
yeah,
and you see my WhatsApp status. That's exactly why I do what I do on my WhatsApp status. It's a lot of, but people wonder
yeah.
why. How are you doing this thing? That's why I'm positioning myself to be an authority in the subject matter, so that the day you need a consultant for that subject area, you remember there's a guy. Even though you've not seen my work, but you've seen me teach it.
Mm,
There's where the brain works. That my teacher is always the best, even though he may not know the practical. Do you get the picture? So
yeah, true.
teach it. So you know the practical. You want to be the consultant and you have the experience. Teach it. Talk about it.
Wow.
That is it's a simple answer, very simple answer. So when we say teach now, it could
Eh,
come in different forms. You don't have to
Yeah.
create an academy. In fact, it's not profitable to create an academy. There's no money in that thing, if you know what I mean. But there's no money. If you know me, you know I'm saying the truth. So
Yeah, yeah,
teach
yeah.
it. The people that need it will reach out to you. So that's
Reach out.
basically it. And of course, you must have
There's go.
had, of course, proof. You must have done some things that
Yeah,
people can point to also beyond the things you say. Let there be proof of physical stuff you've done, right? Maybe where you work, maybe you have a business,
yeah,
or maybe you've built some things. So the two things will complement each other. Because when you are teaching us, when you are talking about what you do, when you are teaching, you reference the things you have done. You are referencing your experience. That is how you
yeah.
position yourself.
Awesome, awesome. That was a very, very direct answer to the question. I want to ask a selfish question because of my information
Okay.
about you. You work
Yeah.
with people that you grew up with. I mean, you went to school together with. They are doing, maybe they are now starting their own business. They now need somebody in your space and they can reach out to you. How were you able to keep up that relationship? I know you were doing this back in school days, but let's say for instance you were not so doing it, and they were still able to reach out to you despite the fact that they could know many other people around that could do it, but they were still able to come back to you, to help them because you're in that space.
Hmm. Actually, the best answer to this, which it has many nuances, right? But the best answer is branding and positioning. Back when I was in
Mm.
school, I was known. I was known for one thing and one thing only: tech. I was known. Oh, I was known for two things actually. The guy that drives a Benz 230, I had a regular Benz back when I was in school. So when they say regular
Okay.
Benz, they know it's Timothy. I was the only one driving that white regular Benz back in school. So you either know me for that car or you know me as a tech bro. So and I was not the only one that do tech, but I was known for it because I carry it on my head. So I was known for it.
Mm.
Then I said earlier that if you want to be known for something, you have to teach it. I taught it when I was in
Yeah.
school. I had classes
Oh
for it.
wow.
Yes. So even though there were guys that were better than me, but I was more known in quotes, right? I was more known
Mm.
because I taught it. Even though I had gas then, I won't lie to you, I was not the best, but I had gas I used to go and meet. Sure you get. But I taught it
Yeah.
and I was known for it. So when guys now out of school, when they think of it, even though there are many other guys, they remember me because I was in their faces. I
Mm.
was in their
Yeah. Yeah.
faces.
True.
I have never done an ad to come and for me to come and build websites. It's always referral, like you said. You are right. People just walk in, right? The only recently I started doing ads, started doing deliberate stuff, right? So it's actually teaching it. Like I said earlier, teaching it. It builds reputation, right? So and then the people that I have worked with before, they liked what we have done for them, so they speak it
Yeah.
to others. So that is what happened. So building a reputation, and the biggest part of building a reputation is doing it for real and doing a good job and then teaching it. That helps you build a brand because naturally, when you teach something, you are communicating that I'm an authority in this thing without saying it verbatim. You get the
Yeah.
idea. So that's what I did back in school, and I did a lot of stuff for the school association, the student bodies. I did a lot of free stuff, both paid and free. So it created an
Mm.
impression on people back then. So then, when you ask any of my former schoolmates now, either former schoolmate or church friend or church fellowship guy or whatever,
Yeah.
when you mention my name, they think tech. They think tech. Yeah,
Wow.
so even
Awesome.
when the
Awesome.
associates are asking them, do you know a tech guy? They say, I know a guy when I was in school. Let me check, does he still do it? And they reach out, guy, do you still do this? I will say, yes, okay. And they will recommend because they had a
Wow.
reputation back in those days. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. So I have two more questions before we round up today. I don't want to take
Okay.
much of your time. I want to ask what mindset, because all this, I know that they all boil down to mindset. You can have all the skills, you can have all the strategy, but if the mindset is wrong, you will not be able to harness all that you have. What are the mindset shifts that every young person, every young Nigerian must have to be able to rise to the top? Are there one or two
Yeah.
things that you feel without this, you are going nowhere?
Yeah. The number one is have a creator's mindset. Have a
What
creator's
do you mean by that?
mindset. Yeah. You must be a person that wants to create or build, not just a person that wants to consume. That's the only way,
Hmm.
right? That's the number one way. Let me not say the only way. That's the number one way. The mindset of a builder. It is not easy, but the mindset of a creator. That is what brings the creativity out of you. A lot of people have creativity in them, but there is nothing to spoil those things because they have not built a mindset that creates stuff. So you must wake up every
Wow.
day, see problems, and think of how to solve them. It doesn't mean you will have to do it yourself, but at least create something. Figure out a solution for a problem. You may sell it to somebody else or give it to somebody else that can build it. Because we won't all be builders, but we cannot create solutions. We cannot have the solution mind. So the first thing is have a creator's mindset. That mindset is what is inside that mindset is a solution-based idea. So I tell my student that I'm teaching you how to code, but you have to be a solution provider first.
Yeah.
You have to be a solution provider first. You must be able to see a problem and create a so you must see a problem and create a solution for it. That's how to survive in this fast-paced world. But if you want to be a consumer, you're just waiting for someone to call you to build something for them, to brand their website or create a clinical for them, you will stay long and you will fight for the crumbs. But the winners think of what to create and what to solve, right? And what you solve may not be a big deal. What I mean by big deal is that it may not be a consumer thing. It could be that look at a business, look at the problem they have, and solve that problem for them, right? It is
Wow.
solutions that bring money out of the pocket of those that have it. The only way to bring money from people's pockets is to solve a problem for them. Or let me not say the only, the best way. You get the idea. Then the second thing is have an abundance mindset, and a mindset of abundance, not a mindset of scarcity. I hope that makes sense. Have a
Yeah, it
mindset of
does.
abundance and not a mindset of scarcity. The idea that there are not many people that can afford me or that can pay me or there's no money in this economy. You must have the mindset that there is abundance that I can achieve what I want to achieve. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Mm.
So there are so
Yeah,
many
I do.
people of me, but I stand out. And because I'm standing out, there is abundance that can come to me. That's the second thing.
Awesome.
The third thing is that you must have a learner's mindset. You must never wake up one day and think you know it all. You must wake up every day thinking of what is the next thing to learn, right? Then that particular mindset will also drive you to study trends and position yourself ahead. When you study trends, you'll be able to predict what can happen and then begin to position yourself ahead of time. You understand what I'm trying to say? You see, people with this
Yeah, I
mindset,
do.
these three things are the people that will survive the age of AI. The abundance mindsets, right? The abundance mindsets, the people that create solutions, right?
Creator.
And the
Yeah.
people, yeah, and the people that are learners forever. Those three things. There are more, but I want to limit it to those three things. There are people that would strive in this industry.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. All right. I think you've answered the second question I had in mind.
Okay.
I want to paint a picture and I want you to tell me if it's going to happen or not. Of course, I believe it's
Okay.
going to happen. Someone said in the next 5 years that you won't have to type or go online to search for item 7 that you want to buy food. What you simply say is to pick your phone and tell AI to get you food that is closest to you at certain amount, range of amount, and you get it at your doorstep. Is it true? Will that happen? And how do businesses position themselves not to be wiped out if this happens?
Hmm. This is 100% true. And I think I've said this before. I said it around
Oh wow.
2020, 2021. Yeah, I said it before. I will go back to my Facebook and dig that post out. I wrote it somewhere online that it will happen. The age of speech control, where you have to speak. But then let me even take it further. The time is coming where you won't have to speak it, you will just think it and it will happen.
Mhm.
Right? It's already happening now, but it will take about maybe say 30 years or 25 years for it to happen. But yes, you are correct, it will happen. And how will business stay ahead of time? Now, this is prediction. Predictions are hardly 100% correct. But what I will say is that you remember when we used to have SEOs that worked with keywords and all those things.
Yeah.
Now we are going to go back to that era, but not the way it used to happen. So now the future is going to go back to the world where we have something like SEO, but not SEO, where businesses, based on their activity, algorithms, that is AI systems, learn about them and then can
Mm.
produce for people that need them. What do I mean? Back in those days, SEOs, you have to build a website, and then or write
Yeah.
articles and put certain keywords in them that helps search engines to locate you when your customers are searching.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, the
I
future is that
understand.
there are systems or there are things now that tools now that we emerge. Example is social media. That your activity on social media will be a learning ground for AI systems to learn about you. Your activities, the
Mm.
things you put, or the things you do in your business, the things you say publicly about your business, are the things that AI will learn about you. That when the customer in Bodija is asking a question, where do I get so thing for so price and so whatever, the AI begins, okay, when was the last time I heard somebody talk about this on social media? I hope that makes sense to you
Mm.
now. When you do
Yeah,
a
it does.
search on Gemini and Gemini gives you a response, it's based on what somebody wrote somewhere on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That is not different from what SEO used to do. It is just that we don't call it SEO anymore. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So businesses now
Yeah, I do.
should take their digital footprint very seriously. It
Very,
starts with
very.
having a website. It starts with having a social media presence. It starts with creating content and so on and so forth. So it's about digital footprint. And I'm saying digital footprints so that I don't box everybody to social media, to website. It is
Mm-hmm.
anything that helps you create an identity online
Mm-hmm.
or a trade online. So that is how it's going to happen eventually. So you just speak it and it happens.
Awesome, awesome.
It's
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been value for our time. Thank you so much. I'll stop here because of time. Or before I stop, is there a question that is dear to your heart that you felt I would have asked that I did not ask that you want to speak to?
mm, yeah, okay, maybe not so much, but then one thing that dropped in my heart is that what is the internet and AI or computational intelligence is going to create many things, including terrible
Okay.
things, right?
Terrible
Social media,
thing.
for instance, yeah, terrible things. For instance, social media, there's a lot of toxicity online. There's a lot of immorality online, nudity, pornography, and all those things and stuff. So there's the good parts and the bad parts. And people will say, "Oh, because it's toxic and related by social media, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, okay, it's a good idea that you excuse yourself from social media because of the toxicity and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
the answer to that, that doesn't solve the problem. Actually, it just helps you to avoid it for a while. Because what I'm not seeing on social media, you will see it in Bodija, you will see it in Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm trying to say, or Lekki or whatever. So the real answer is that social media platforms work based on algorithms, and the
Yeah.
algorithms are now AI powered, and they are powered based on the things you like, things you interact with, and the things you spend time on. So the real answer
Mm-hmm.
is not to use social media. The real answer is to begin to culture the things you give attention to on the internet that you use. So I think that is one thing that was on my mind as we spoke. That there are many vices that the internet promotes or the AI promotes or whatever. But as it affects us is based on the things we interact with and the things we allow in our space. And if we don't
Awesome.
create quality content, we will not be able to help ourselves. So we interact
Exactly.
with good content and create quality content. Yeah, that's the answer. Create quality content and interact with good content. That solves the problem, or that helps us to cope with the. Yeah.
Yes, yes, very well. Thank you so much for your time. So before we round up, I would like you to tell us where we can find your works on social media, your social media handle, or where else we can
Okay.
find what you do.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn. And my name on those platforms is Ayodele Timothy Olusegun. LinkedIn
Mm.
and Facebook. Then on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, I am Ayodele Team. AYODELETIM on both of those platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm not sure I'm on what do you call it now? Snapchat. I don't even know how to use that app,
Snapchat.
but I don't know how to use it. So, but that is who I am online. I love to interact with you. If you reach out to me, I promise to respond as quickly as possible.
Awesome, awesome. So please go check him out on Facebook, Instagram,
Um,
Twitter,
yes,
LinkedIn.
sorry, I
Yeah,
forgot
go
to
ahead.
mention. I have a newsletter, if I may say. I have a newsletter that I write regularly, but you can join my newsletter at ayodeleteam.com. You'll be able to join my newsletter. I write regularly on a wide range of topics. So I would love to write to you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, sir. We'll
You're
call it
very
a day.
welcome.
Thank you so much. I will reach
Thank
out
you
to you
for
later. We should have more of
no
this.
problem.
All
No problem. No
right.
problem. No problem. Enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
God bless you.